So Joe, I don't know if I told you this, but I was moving. I moved into a new apartment like a mile away.
I know, because you wind every second, weeks in advance. I know. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, it sucked. I mean, the reason why I whined is that it fucking sucked, and I hated it, and it was so bad. And afterwards, for like 3 days, my legs and back hurt a lot, and I couldn't get up from a chair without going, ooh. Anyway, I am moved in now. I mean, obviously not like fully moved in. There's still boxes around, but like the fucking place is livable, and we're living in it, and it's pretty good, Joe. I gotta say,
It's good to have a space upgrade since you only can pace your 4 walls.
Yeah. My previous apartment had like 10 square feet, and this one's got like 20. So big upgrade. One thing though that I'm really looking forward to, I'm gonna need to go to Home Depot first and pick up a plug stopper first before I can do this. I'm gonna take a bath, and this is a big deal because like this is the first bath that I've taken in like 1,000 years. Because I don't know if you know this about tubs, but they're made for babies. And you can't fit in them. And I can't fit in a tub.
Actually, I believe tubs are made for 5'9" kings, and I've never had any issues. Actually,
You can eat shit. Fuck you.
they're fine.
This tub is super fucking big, and like I can actually fit in it. And all I need to do is buy a stopper so that it actually fills up. And then, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take one of the 10 bath bombs I've accrued over the last 10 years from various miscellaneous gifts that I haven't been able to use because I can't take a bath because I'm fucking 6 feet tall, which apparently is impossible to take a bath in. And I'm going to fucking sit down, and we'll put the bath bomb, and it's going to fizz. It's going to make the bath a fun color, and I'm going to have a fucking big glass of wine, and I'm gonna have a lovely time relaxing. And Joe, holy shit, just imagine that.
You need to get one of those like little bougie wooden trays that goes over the tub so you can have your treats in front of you.
Joe, what I'm gonna say is about to blow your mind. I fucking have one. Like I already do.
Oh yeah,
I got it.
Yeah. Okay, you have the treat table already?
Yeah. We got it as a wedding gift because we thought, wouldn't this be fun? But then I overlooked the fact that it's impossible to use because if I did that, my knobby knees would stick up and fucking upset the tray, and everything would fall into the damn tub, which is covering like 10% of my hideous body. I can't, like, it's so stupid. Like, how is it possible that, like, the people who designed a tub, they couldn't possibly have foreseen a future where a 6-foot man existed? Like, they just didn't think of that?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think back in, like, earlier times when people were malnourished and you could, like, sell tickets to see a freak, and it's just like a 6-foot tall man.
A giant of far Siberia, 6 feet tall. How'd he get there?
He got just all the grain. You know how you're supposed to get all your grain? He got it all. You know how you get
folks,
no grain?
Folks, you know when it's time for grain? And you go to get your grain from Mama, and she's like, I could only buy you a halfpenny's worth of grain today. And you sort of sigh and eat your grain and know that, like, well, I'm going to be 410. This guy got the whole penny.
Saying whole in front of things, that's a secret to Funny Town.
That's the whole secret.
That's it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we look at the 4 pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. This is going to be a posting episode. I'm Tom, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
Joe, you heard about this new thing called Toobin It?
Yeah, every second of my waking life is about the phrase tubing it. Fucking a horrible curse put onto us by someone we thought was a friend.
Yeah, I was going to credit Quinn Welsh Wilson for the phrase Toobin It, but Actually, how dare they? We now actually condemn Quinn Welsh Wilson for the phrase "Toobin It." If you don't know, Toobin It is when you jerk your hog.
Yeah, usually on a 10-minute break. Like, anytime you were in college and the teacher was like, let's just take 10 minutes to get water or whatever, that is a prime tubing opportunity, unfortunately. It's really bad. And the thing that sucks about tubing it is, like, I said it once because of that horrible word virus, and, like, it felt like I had been saying it for years.
Yeah. Like, when I saw that fucking message from Quinn, Toobin It, it was like a Lovecraft character, like, reading an eldritch word in a spooky book. Where it's like, somehow I've known this word all along.
Right. It's the fucking blood meridian thing where it's like Toobin was always there waiting for the perfect creature to speak it.
I mean, folks, just for some background, if you're not aware, and how could you not be, though, if considering how widespread it's been. But what happened was a guy named Jeffrey Toobin, who is a pundit, was with all of his work buddies at the New Yorker playing an RPG over Zoom.
Yeah, we can't spend too much time on that. They were doing I believe, a pervert's ritual where you role play election night. A thing that I can't imagine trying to get that on people's calendars.
It's insane to do. Like, we've played a ton of role-playing games, and, like, one thing that should never happen when you're doing it is that it's work, that you're at work, because, like, that's two streams that should never fucking cross, especially when you're doing weird real-life LARPing, where, like, someone has to play Mike Pence. Yeah.
Is he worried, like, they'll miss election night? Like, they'll be busy?
To pretend. This is like the preview. And also, like, it's unclear whether or not, like, what they were doing with this RPG game was, like, for public consumption. Like, were they gonna publish the results?
There's no way. And actually, the reason I think you're onto something there is something we wanted to talk about, which is, like, a lot of people stepped out of the woodwork to be like, it's normal.
Yeah, it's normal that they do that. Everyone does this weird RPG where we pretend to be the courts, capital T, capital C, the courts. But, we don't want to get to that yet, because what happened was, of course, that they were like, let's take a 10-minute break, and then fucking Jeffrey Toobin got totally nude and started yanking his pud in front of everyone on the Zoom.
Yeah, logistically, I wouldn't have taken off my shirt.
Well, okay, friend of the show and delightful person, Tom McHenry, puts it to us that what may have happened is that he was on another call with an e-girl who was doming him, and she told him to get nude like a little piggy for his work friends on the New Yorker call, because he's a dirty, dirty boy. I don't know if that's true, but I have a feeling that it's definitely true.
Yeah, that feels true, because there's a hero in that story.
You know what would make her a real hero is if he came back and he was like, did you see the news, mistress? I'm such a dirty boy. And did you see? And she's like, I don't read about you ever.
Yeah.
That would be a hero move.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know this number.
But Joe, everyone saw, that he was Toobin It. This MFer straight Toobin It.
Yeah, it happened. He was on a Zoom call. Everyone, like, knows that he was jacking it. It doesn't, like, we'll stop talking about the act because, like, it as we're going to explain, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That it was jacking it. It's like, it just happened to be jacking this time.
Yeah, the reason we're talking about Toobin It is that, like, this is the latest and I think most sort of high-profile example of a pattern of behavior that has happened hundreds of times and will continue to happen, and you need to know about and be aware of, because, like, the only way to sidestep the sort of institutional trick that's being pulled on you is by individual action. Because Joe, after he was Toobin It, after we all knew, we've sort of teased this previously, but what happened then? What did everyone think about it?
Well, most people were like, it's kind of funny that he jacked off, because like normally you don't want to do that at work. And that's like the normal response, and it's pretty good. But then like an army of blue check mark people started saying weird shit that was like defensive, but never like explicitly being like, this man is a victim, right? Because like it's still understood that like he was caught Toobin It. Like, let the record show he was jacking it. But like everyone is like suddenly doing like weird AP essays about like, what does it mean to be sex positive? And it's like, these what?
I mean, Joe, you're sort of circling the main issue, which is that they all said it was normal.
Yeah,
like that was what they really did. They're like, hey,
yeah.
I know you want to make fun of him for Toobin It, but actually, this is normal.
Yeah. The issue here is you want to reduce it to it's normal. I wanted to at least explain like, hey, this is the way they're going to say it's normal.
It's true. Okay. So here I have some primary sources of people who called this shit normal. So we have an opinion piece from the New York Daily News that says Jeffrey Toobin's history of bad sexual judgment is really about our unease with masturbation.
It's absolutely not. It's I'm not a part of this. I'm trying to just keep working in gaming.
So Joe, okay. From this New York Daily News op-ed, I think the big funny line that really just like kills you. And you can tell that this is funny because the guy writing it thinks that he's like hit a facts and logic home run. And here it is. Let's suppose Jeffrey Toobin had been caught on camera having sex with a partner instead of touching himself. Would he be the most ridiculed man in America then?
Yeah, probably.
It'd be yes, for sure.
Hey, what if instead of being caught jerking off at a fake work thing, he was instead caught with both his hands in honey jars, slipping in shit nonstop? I think we'd be singing a different tune, right?
Fucking like, this is just like, it's actually normal. This is another one by the Toronto Star. This one doesn't sort of step in rhetorical shit quite as hilariously as that New York Daily News one. But it is also sort of, it doesn't even try to make an argument, as dumb as the New York Daily News' argument was. They did try to make one. The headline is, horrified by Jeffrey Toobin's penis? Put it away for now, which, oh man, what a lead. And then the first line is, Jeffrey Toobin didn't cover himself in glory, or regrettably anything else, in that fateful Zoom call, but CNN and his country need him.
What? Wait, are they regrettable he wasn't covered?
Yeah, he should have covered his pud with clothing, is what they're saying.
Oh, I thought like oil.
Oh no! Or like a fleshlight, or like a male aid.
Yeah, I was very... Okay, yeah, your reading makes more sense.
But Joe, this motherfucker isn't even being like, you think it's weird to jerk off at work? It's actually normal to jerk off at work, and you're a prude. This guy is just like, don't make fun of Jeffrey Toobin because he's in the class of powerful people, and you can't do that.
You can't do that, and also there is like something unsaid waiting at the surface of all these, which is like, you shouldn't make fun of this because it'll happen to you. And it's like, no, it fucking won't.
Like, it won't. Like it won't. Like, it totally won't. Like, we've never been horny, so like we've never tubed it. So like we're above that. But let's for fun, let's do a little RPG game for our work, where we pretend that we've been horny at some point.
Yeah.
Like for example, like let's say that I'm married, like you have a girlfriend. Like that would never happen.
No,
because we've never been horny. But like let's say that happened, and like let's say at some point we wanted to tube it. Would that instantly make us the most ridiculed man in America? Well, no, because we didn't do it at work, and I didn't show anybody.
Yeah, because it also shows like very fast and poor decision making. Which is like why it's so funny.
And also like, maybe I have a different type of work environment from Jeffrey Toobin, but like if I'm at work, if I'm like doing work, like the amount of time it's going to take me to switch from like despair mode to like time to Toobin mode is like at least an hour.
Yeah. I'm leaving a building. Like I cannot, it's just like bad energy in there. It can't be done.
It's true. Oh man, he was Toobin it. And further to our, fake scenario of like, what if we wanted to tube it? We never would, but like, it wouldn't be bad because we wouldn't be doing it work. This is sort of a corollary to that. This is a YouTuber who was definitely saying this for engagement bait, and it worked because they got a lot of quote tweets.
Yeah.
They say, Chris Evans accidentally shows his little Captain America, and everyone has a laugh. Jeffrey Toobin does an accidental cam show, and it's a giant scandal. This really seems to me like only conventionally attractive guys are allowed to exist below the waist.
I'm sure ugly guys everywhere appreciate you making it about this.
Yeah, if you're not conventionally attractive, you have to support Toobin because he's normal. It's actually normally do this. Also, I think the key difference is that, like, there's a difference between, like, I accidentally posted a nude to my social media, oopsie, and I was at work with all of my coworkers who I have to work with tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And they saw me jerking my hog in a professional setting. Yeah. I bet if like Chris Evans was like at a table read with like the Marvel guys and he's just like he dick fell out, like they'd get mad.
He just starts jacking off and is like, "Oh, I'm on the wrong page."
I'm on the page that says Chris starts Toobin it.
Yeah. Because the koi thing they said was like Little Captain America.
Yeah.
What if they thought it was like an actual another person though?
It's just a little guy. He came out. He just came out and said hello.
Yeah.
God. Also, like, everyone had a laugh at Chris Evans. Like, what do you think we're doing to Toobin now? Like, we're laughing. I'm fucking laughing. Like, folks, we're laughing.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. Can you read my favorite one?
Which one would that be?
That would be Liz Brunick's post.
Ooh, this is the shit that really wowed me. So, like, I was expecting people to say that, like, it's normal that he was Toobin it, ignore. But she really came out of nowhere with a hot, spicy take. And this is all deleted because she deletes all of her tweets after a day. So I only have one screenshot. But the gist was that she was like, well, it's clear that he meant to turn the Zoom off and masturbate for someone else and just failed to do that.
It was meant for... It's really our fault.
And just like, you can't get mad at it and you can't punish him because he didn't intend for anything to go wrong. And so... Man, you talked about how they couch this, it's normal in AP essay language. This really is the sort of worst of it. Elizabeth Brunig says, bingo, there are many, many, many gradations of iniquity in life. We spend a lot of time trying to categorize things so as to eliminate those shades and instead render a, quote, pure judgment. I think a just world would be extremely sensitive to those subtle shades, though. A lot of words for, like, don't get mad at the hog man for 2 minutes.
Yeah, can you read just the first part up to life one more time?
There are many, many, many gradations of iniquity in life.
This is like an introductory clause about a guy jacking off.
There are many, many gradations of guy, and I've found a new one.
Yeah.
This is Libya as a land of contrast.
And, like, I don't know, if you work in the media, like, are you not allowed to just, like, not say anything about this? Like, because if I like, did honestly work in that industry, I would probably just, like, not say anything.
No, you're required to. I'm pretty sure that if someone in your class has their status threatened, you have to come defend it because then they'll come defend you when it's your turn.
Oh,
because
they probably have, like, their own Amber Alert.
Yeah, it's a Toobin It alert. It's someone that caught Toobin It. But no, the reason we bring this up, the reason that Toobin It is the topic of today's discussion, and the sort of thing, the phenomenon that it is emblematic of, is not the fact that he was caught Toobin It. And it's not even really the fact that all of his peers came to defend him. It's that in a couple of months, he'll be back.
He's fine.
and no one will remember. Any sort of memory of what happened is going to be on you. There's going to be no institutional memory of the Toobin It whatsoever. And how can we be so sure? Because this has happened a billion times.
Yeah, yeah. A year from now, you're going to see him on the TV, and you're going to be like, that man was caught jacking it. And it's going to be like the Chainsaw Man ate that memory.
Yeah. You're going to be like, oh, I bet he's on TV so that they can ask him how it feels to be the Hog Man.
Yeah. We're checking in. Are you still a dirty boy?
Instead, they're going to be like, what do you think about the midterms? And he's like, it could go either way. And they're like, wow, have a big bag of money. And you'll be like, but wait, am I wrong that that's the jacking? He was Toobin It? Like, that's the one, right? And nothing about society or the world we live in wants you to remember. They want you to forget so that they can come back. Like, for example, Joe, you remember a couple years ago, there was a wonderful, just truly kick-ass post. I'm going to read it right now. Ojeda and Avenatti, remember Avenatti? Jesus Christ. Ojeda and Avenatti as candidates are like the guy who thinks good sex is pumping away while you're making a grocery list in your head, wondering when he'll be done. Beto O'Rourke is like the guy who is all sweet and nerdy, but holds you down and makes you come till your calves cramp.
All right, I hate the fucking emphasis that you're doing. This is awful.
I was doing it on purpose to bug you.
It's really bad. That was Leah, right? What's her last name? McGrath?
Leah McElrath said this in 2018, and she was the main character of Twitter for the day because,
right?
Wow.
So I've seen like meme versions of that to the point where like I didn't want to confirm that it was exactly that said by her, and the reason is like she gets retweeted and shit. So like I don't want to have to be reminded of that. I wanted that like out.
Yeah, no one remembers this. Like everyone, if I bring this tweet up, people will be like, I remember that tweet. Oh my God, calves cramp, hilarious. But I bet that they've retweeted Leah McElrath in the past because you know what she did? She laid low for a couple of days, and then she started doing her thing again, which is to tweet out like bland liberal truisms, like, you know, like it's wrong when the Supreme Court takes away rights. Say it louder for the people in the back. And she has, you know, a bio that is very impressive, and she has a professional headshot, and her posts get 100,000 likes. So you're going to see it retweeted onto your feed, and you're going to be like, damn, Supreme Court shouldn't be doing that shit. She's right. I don't disagree. I guess I'll like that. And then you're like, wait a minute. Leah McElrath. And then you do some stooping, and it's the fucking calves cramp woman.
Oh my God. I just realized, Tom, we need to make a browser extension. So when you like mouse over her, it's like, this is the calf cramp woman. A little UI thing should pop up.
Like, legitimately, that is not a terrible idea, because like that is how they get away with this shit, is that there's no institutional memory. No one who counts is remembering this for you. It has to be you. You must remember this. When there is a crazy post, you have to remember it, because they bank on you forgetting.
Yeah, and like take it from us, because like we lost one of our greatest like cherish posting gems that happened just as like we're starting the podcast and sort of sketching out what we wanted to do. One of the greatest online experiences I've ever had happened, and it was thanks to a woman named Liz Mayer.
And you have definitely seen Liz Mayer retweeted onto your feed. You probably liked a tweet that Liz Mayer said, because she's a never Trump Republican. She's like a dead-eyed, soulless ghoul.
Yeah, she worked for, I think, Rand Paul, and is in general like a libertarian. And also she's like from the UK, so like when they come here to be libertarian, that's scary.
Woof, if they were too extreme for the UK. She's terrible, but she's decided that a good way to make a lot of money, like the Project Lincoln guys, is to just tweet out bland truisms that no one can disagree with, which is like, when you're the president, maybe don't be a boor. And you're just like, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree. Like, I'd hate for the president to be a boor. Like, if I had a choice, I would have him not do that.
Yeah, it's like the political version of like ladies can watch Goodfellas. Like it doesn't like, yes, it's correct. I do not disagree.
And like big blue check people who have huge followings and no mind just retweet her, and now she makes a lot of money and is very respected as a never Trump person. And especially now with the fucking whole Biden thing being like the one person we love more than anyone is Republicans who think Trump's a boo or fuck the left. It's like she is having the time of her life.
Yes, and she's allowed to do that because no one remembers what we remember. And it was roughly like 2.5 years ago, she did the first of several posts, which we can sort of like categorize as, would you agree, the Mongolian posts.
Ah, yes, a very good title for them, Joe. What was the gist of the Mongolian posts?
The Mongolian post, and I need you to understand that I'm just repeating what it had. I'm not like endorsing or agreeing with any of the things that she posted. She said she is often frustrated because she often will start speaking Spanish to someone she believes to be Hispanic and Spanish speaking, but it will turn out they are Mongolian. and she makes it a point to be like, isn't it crazy how like Mongolians and Mexican people look similar, is like what she posted.
Wasn't part of it like Mongolian people, because of this, have a responsibility to me to disclose their ethnicity?
Yes, there was like some weird, like, let me see that skull. There was some real weirdness there. And then if that was it, that would have been fine. That would have been a post of the day. But she did the thing where she was like, right? Am I right, folks? And like to the point where, and this sounds like we're fucking making it up, but we can't find it. It's gone.
She deleted it.
She posted, I'm not joking, a picture of like a Mongolian horse archer, like from fucking Age of Empires 2, and was like, do you guys not see what I see? Like, are you not with me on this? And it was unreal.
In any just world, that's a career ender. It doesn't even matter if your career is in the public eye.
No.
If you're like the cashier at 7-Eleven and you say that Mongolian shit,
yeah, you cannot work there anymore. Like you
even if you don't get fired, your fellow coworkers should be roasting you so hard that you can't show your face.
Yes. And at that time when she did that, she was lead of communications for Rand Paul. So when she had her like weird like scientific racism meltdown, she did that as a communications professional.
That's the good kind of post. That's a post that your jaw drops at, because it's like that kind of like barrel-aged racism.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You're going to learn some Deadwood slurs.
Because like everyone's familiar with the sort of just like screaming red hatred brand of racism that you can get at like the corner store. That's not interesting, and we hate to see it.
Yeah.
But like this racism was first distilled in 1960 and has been kept in a vintage bourbon barrel since then, and has become a thick syrup that like doesn't resemble what it used to be. It's like no one knows where this came from. Like, how could this happen? But it's here, and she believes it more strongly than anything you believe.
It's just amazing because she just sort of assumes that a lot of Americans would both like agree that they look the same, but also like have a pretty good understanding of like like mainland China and like what Mongolia is versus Han Chinese and shit. Which like no.
I mean, also the more to the point, like that not only would we agree to this, but we also agree that this is a big problem in our lives too. That like when we go to speak Spanish unprompted to someone we clock as Mexican, which I assume that she thinks she's doing this as a favor to them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know that it's difficult for your ethnic brain to process English words, so I'll speak your little language. And then like they're like, actually I'm Mongolian. They're
they're all just doing that as a joke. Like, because obviously all of the people she is confusing on a daily basis are clearly like in her orbit. So they're probably just like, just tell that lady you're Mongolian and you don't have to talk to her.
She'll just get mad and walk away.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, this sucks. This is a dumb post, and it's hilarious, and it really speaks to the just rot at the core of her brain.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. No one remembers.
Yeah, if your neighbor did this, you wouldn't shut up about it.
Yes. Like, this is one of, like, the anecdotes you put away in, like, your top tier of things to pull out when you meet someone new. It's like, oh, yeah, and, I work at the spreadsheet factory. Yeah, actually, I do some sort of comedy projects. Have you heard about this lady I know? She thinks that Mexican people and Mongolians are the same. It's wild.
Okay, so do you know the Rand family? Okay, so this is the son. He has a woman.
And yeah, no one fucking remembers. There's no institutional memory of this. None of her peers bring this up. No one has ever brought this up. Anytime she makes a post, anytime she gets a new position of power, no one's like, hey, aren't you the Mongolian lady? No one remembers this. And it keeps happening. Like, another person that, Liz Mayer is a Republican, but one person who is a big time liberal, who you definitely have liked a tweet by or considered it before remembering. You must remember this. You have to remember these posts. Is Charlotte Clymer. Joe, can you give us a primer on Clymer?
The short version is, like, she loves it when people in red states die, I guess.
I mean, her thing is that she is a U.S. Army veteran who is a liberal and posts about being a liberal.
Mm-hmm, yes. And the post that, like, I think was, like, sort of eye-opening on that is, so you know the virus?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. It doesn't come up as much anymore, so I wanted to just check in there. But
I'm still not a fan. A lot of people have come around on it, not me.
It's not good. She did a quote retweet, which was a simple headline that was just like a fact about saying, like, the infection rate in Georgia is predictably not great. It's climbing. It's out of control. Like everywhere else, it sucks. And then she just did, like, the sips coffee, like, reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, that stuff is, like, so eye-opening to me because it's just, like... So, the issue is not, like, the human life thing. The issue is that, like, bad management happened.
Yeah. A headline that was like 80,000 people get COVID after the governor refuses to shut down the state. And she's just like, sips coffee. She thinks that, like, the what people get when they read that headline is like, damn, the governor sure took damage from that. He lost face from that. And she's like, as a liberal, I love it when Republicans lose face. So this is good news to me. And like, in her defense, like, the governor of Georgia is like an evil maniac who stole the election. And, like, if he got COVID 80,000 times, I'd be right there with you, Charlotte. I'd be sipping the coffee too. But he actually didn't get the virus, and the people who got the fucking virus are definitely, like, not him.
Yeah.
So don't be happy about that.
Yeah.
And, like, so, okay, she cheers for the death of civilians. That just happened. But, like, who cares? Like, the next day, she's posting another thing where it's like, Donald Trump, more like a guy who sucks. And George Takei retweets it, and it's like, this is everything. And it doesn't matter. Like, no one remembers. You, the only person who can make a change is you. You are the only person who can remember because no one else is going to do it for you. Actually, fucking previous guesto, Devin Price, had a great article that they wrote recently about, like, how, yeah, like, the fact that, like, you, a person, are, like, making the right individual choices with regard to the fucking virus is infuriating because you're the only person who can. Like, you are the first and only line of defense because society just refuses. They absolutely opt out of their responsibility, leaving the only possible way that a right choice can be made is an individual choice, which is infuriating. And that's what's happening here.
Yeah, which is, like, the two-step that, like, scares me a lot, which is we have... I don't know. What's the death total now? Like 220,000? It's a lot. It's no good. The thing is, it's going to be higher than when we record this, so it doesn't fucking matter. And it's just like you have these like just terrifying casualties, and like the responsibility at every level is being like shifted down. So it's like the conversation now just sort of seems like 220,000 people died, and we'll get to the bottom of it.
We're going to put together a committee to figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah, and it's just, like, we know what happened, so who's left to, like, make any meaningful change about, like, this thing we live is just, like, small gestures you can do on a personal level.
Yeah. And, like, one such gesture is, you got to remember that when famous writer Gia Tolentino posts something and everyone says that she's very smart for doing so, you have to remember that she, just out of nowhere one day, it was like, I hate how the vile bros attack me simply because my parents did human trafficking.
I gotta tell you, I think you can attest to this based on like the amount of messages you got from me. This was like, I found the They Live glasses, man. Like, yeah. I saw every person on Twitter that I've like either seen retweeted who has like a writing job be like, oh, that's so rough.
Yeah. Like, it was one thing, it would be crazy enough if she's like, my parents brought workers over from the Philippines and made them work in extremely exploitative conditions because it was the only choice they had and they knew it. And then they got sued for mistreating them. And I hate it when people make fun of me for that. And it's like, well, that's a weird thing to say. You're the main character of Twitter today for sure. What made it like the They Live glasses moment is like, yo, every fucking blue check who works for the New Yorker, who works for New York Magazine, who works for Vox, who works for any of these fucking places was like, oh my God, Gia, I'm so sorry. This sucks.
Yeah. And also the court documents, like, you can look at them. Like, that was, I think that's why I knew I was in too deep, because like my focus sucks normally, but I was like I was a fucking detective with this documentation. Like, I did so much reading that day because I was just enamored by it, because the more you read, the more insane all of the like, can you believe this is?
Mm-hmm. It's and like so many people who like you thought would know better were like, every new person who came up was just like a punch in the gut. It's just fucked. And it all passed. No one fucking remembers this. It's gone. It is gone. She does not bear the mark of the human trafficking parents. Fucking Liz Mayer does not bear the mark of Mexican and Mongolians are the same. Fucking Leah McElrath does not bear the mark of Beto O'Rourke will fuck you till your calves cramp, and Jeffrey Toobin will not bear the mark of Toobin It. It will all get forgotten because they need you to forget.
And you might be thinking, like, is this like a statement that like you can never be free from sin and no one should be forgiven? It's like, no, actually, like, I that's not at all the issue. The issue is you just need to understand that, like, when you have to see the Mongolian lady do a post and like it's normal, like I have to sit down. I get like really dizzy. Like, it's just like so powerful, and like it's one of those things where I'm just so amazed that her replies aren't just like that forever.
Yeah. And it what it is that like this is a class of people who derive great power and great earning power from appearing to the general public to be geniuses. Like they're geniuses. Like they are saying the politics tweets that are setting the conversation by getting 1 million retweets. They're the ones who are getting on Talking Heads shows. They're like important people whose opinions and fucking platitudes are setting the conversation. And the only way that they're allowed to have that power, the only way they can derive that power, is if no one remembers when they were like, hey, everybody, I'm going to take a break from my politics things to talk about how Mexicans and Mongolians look identical. And that makes me so fucking angry. Like, they need to erase that. And it's not fair to you as a consumer to be lied to about the product you're being sold.
No. It's just a case of false advertising. That's what it is. It's like Twitter pulled that boneheaded move where they blocked or flagged the Joe Biden story, which obviously made it seem more real, because it's like, here's the real truth the world doesn't want you to know. And they shouldn't have done it for that. They should do it for, like, Leah's post. Like, it should be like, warning. This post is done by the calf cramp woman.
Anytime Kurt Eichenwald shows up, it's like, this MF was looking at tentacle porn, and when he got found out, he claimed that he was showing it to his wife to prove that it was real.
Yeah. You know how your wife's always like, you know what's not real? Fucking weird tentacles coming out of the screen, doing stuff.
How did that even come up? It's like, hey, wife, are you aware that there is illustrated pornography? And she's like, Kurt, honey, I simply can't believe that's true. That could never happen.
And it sucks because, like, there was a huge court case about it because, like, a guy sent Kurt a GIF of a flashing light making fun of him after he posted hentai. And then the lawsuit that guy is suing the GIF sender is that because he's prone to seizures, it was an attack on his life. So there's like there is so much documentation and legal artifacts that all point back to the time Kurt Eichenwald showed his wife hentai on the computer, or so he claims. And I know that's not the real story because the screenshot he used to, like, where he got caught with it in the tab is that shit was like the 8th tab out of 90. Like, he's never returning to that tab ever again. There's no way you call your wife over and be like, here, let me thumb through my tab so I can show you this little treat called hentai.
It's crazy. It's like, and you might be thinking, like, well, Tom, everyone remembers that. I know about that. Well, again, it's individual action. Like, you know, your buddies might know. All of your buddies might know.
But your parents don't know. And then Kurt goes on MSNBC, and then you have to, like, inadvertently have to hear about him.
Yeah, you talk to your parents, and, like, a very interesting man named Kurt Eichenwald said something on MSNBC today about how those socialist policies that you like are very stupid. What do you think about that? And it's just like, well, he's the hentai man, mother.
Yeah. Like, is your afternoon free? We have a lot to go through.
And okay, and it may seem like we're putting a lot of time and energy on forcing you to remember stupid Twitter drama and dumb post history. One, yes, we are. That's true. Yes. But two, this is more important than just remembering posts. Remembering posts is sort of like the bounce passes that you do to build up your fundamentals so that you do this instinctually without even having to think about it.
Yeah, honestly, I remember posts in the shower a lot.
Yeah. See, that's what you got to be doing. You got to be remembering these things at all times. Never let yourself forget. And here's why. Because it's going to go beyond posts. Like, this post was about Jeffrey Toobin, but it chilled me to my fucking core because of what it suggests is going to happen. And it doesn't matter who this is from. This is from a blue check mark. But it goes, nobody deserves the level of humiliation that Jeffrey Toobin is being subjected to. I don't even think Trump does. Although I do hope that he and his kids all do prison time.
What is... What? I don't understand how, like, your enemies can only experience the right type of pain. What is this?
It's setting the stage for everyone forgetting about what Trump did. Trump's whole presidency was just a big evil post that did a lot of death, and people are going to forget about the post. No one's going to bring the post up, and you're going to feel crazy for remembering it. Like, she's like, I don't want him to be shamed. I do want to do jail time. Well, here's the thing. He'll never do jail time. That just won't happen. Like, Joe Biden's already said, I'm not going to prosecute Trump for any crimes. He's not going to ever go to jail. So saying, well, actually, I do think he should go to jail, that's like, delete that. That's not part of the post. That's nothing. That isn't anything. So all that's actually being said is, I don't want Trump to be humiliated, which
I want to protect the big, strong president.
Yeah. Like, I don't think this person knows that they're saying this. I think that they think that they're being anti-Trump, but this is just the first step in the process of a post is getting forgotten about, and someone's going to come back and everyone's going to forget. Like, this is what's good. Like, Max Temkin, the fucking big-time sex pervert, racist abuser head of Cards Against Humanity, who was finally exposed in a way that stuck this summer, He's been off Twitter for ages. He hasn't posted in forever. He's been gone total radio silent. And the reason he's doing that is because eventually enough time is going to pass that he's going to come back onto Twitter and he's going to retweet some fucking socialist platitude being like, workers deserve rights. And I'm going to be like, damn, workers do deserve rights. You know what? Actually, I like that. I'm going to like that. And then I'm going to hover over the little heart and see that it's fucking Max Temkin. And if I don't remember, then I'm going to hit that fucking button.
Yeah, and you're not gonna remember. We're dumb as shit, dude.
We're dumb as shit, but part of the reason we're so dumb is that we fucking obsessed about posts. I'm gonna remember the posts, dude. I'm remembering posts. I'm not remembering like the birthdays of my nieces and nephews, but I am remembering this.
Yeah, I just stalk the same path in my little apartment, thinking about posts now. And now as winter rolls in, there's less daylight.
Yeah. Like Rahm Emanuel, he did a bunch of he posted so hard that he covered up a murder of a child.
And now he just like is everywhere. It sucks so bad. It's gonna happen to Lori.
Yep. And it's gonna happen to Trump. It's going to happen to Trump. How could it possibly happen to Trump, you say? Well, if you're listening to us, you probably fucking know. But like a normie is gonna be like, how could that happen to Trump? Like, because no one remembers the posts Bush did. We all love that kooky grandpa who paints ghosts.
It could be so much better if instead of the little cute dogs he painted, it was just like really shitty Pac-Man ghosts. Yeah, and frankly, like, we have a fake memory of like what even 9/11 was. This was a few weeks ago, but the post of the day was whoever that asshole that was like, you know, following 9/11 really came together and weren't racist.
Oh, yeah, it was fucking Krugman. Oh, folks, you have to remember, this is Paul Krugman from the New York Times. You have to remember this. You have to remember this. He said, 19 years later, after 9/11, one thing that we can all be so proud of as a nation is that we didn't succumb to anti-Muslim bigotry. Yeah, we did. Day one. Holy shit, so hard. We couldn't have fallen harder.
It was so bad that my hometown is featured in a Harvard paper that just covers the controversy of a mosque trying to open nearby. And would you believe it? Following 9/11, people had opinions. I remember being there and like not interacting with it directly, but like even just like feeling that, like the energy was like, oh, okay, so like everyone is on edge forever now, huh?
Yeah. And fucking Paul Krugman thinks that didn't happen. And he is going to be on Twitter next week being like, Donald Trump's trade policies are just not smart. And fucking like William Gibson is going to retweet it. And I'm going to be like, William Gibson, one of my favorite sci-fi authors. I wonder what he has to he likes this. Okay. William, my buddy, do you know about the 9/11 thing he said? And it's like this, it just goes on and on.
Yeah.
It's going to never stop. You have to remember.
Yeah, and also you can't like go around like telling people that like what they just retweeted, because then you're just a unhinged person that's just like, by the way, did you know like about what you're doing right now? Like, are you familiar with what you're doing with regards to the hentai community? Like, it's just not like you can't do that because then you're a freak. So
it's like seeing someone drinking coffee and be like, you know that actually coffee is only harvested in the most exploitative of conditions with people who are not properly given enough money, and actually climate change being what it is, it's the fact that we're going to continue cultivating coffee plants. Well, that's just like such a misallocation of resources. Actually, if you actually looked into it, it's like, fuck you, you're the villain here.
Yeah. It's just like I didn't make the choices that got us here. I think that is the issue. Is like when you're lecturing someone like that, make sure it's a person who has power to change things.
Yeah, and like, but at the same time, that's why it's got to be you who does it.
Yeah,
like if there's not going to be some organization that holds people to account when they say that Mongolian people are required to disclose their Mongolian ethnicity as soon as you meet them.
People must state their haplogroup immediately.
Yeah, if no one's going to remember that for you, it's got to be you. And and you gotta start if you haven't already.
Yeah.
It sounds like work, but part of it's fun because you get to remember stupid shit.
Yeah, also, like, you feel like you're perfecting, like, a hidden technique. Like, only you know the truth, and you, like, sit and think about the power of it. I don't know. It's good to be centered like that. Like, you know the real story behind the freaks on MSNBC or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the heady drug at the center of like the appeal of like InfoWars, which is like there's so much evil shit going behind the scenes that they don't want you to know about, and only you know. Except the difference is that like you're right, because you can look at the posts, like you can go and see the posts, like they're there.
Yeah, and they don't care because like nothing can happen.
Yeah. They've already won. They've already gotten to the point where no one remembers the post, and they're back on top, baby. No one remembers that I said sips coffee when 80,000 people in Georgia got the coronavirus. Ha 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 ha. I'm the winner.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not proposing we, like, be better in any sort of way with regards to this theory and this observation of ours. It's just like, here's a new burden you have to think about.
Yeah, that's what we're all about on Anime Sickos. Joe, to end this segment, I think there's one sort of summary point that I think ties everything up in a neat, tidy bow. And part of what makes it so conclusive and so full in its summation is that it ties right back to Jeffrey Toobin. Joe, I gotta ask, can you even imagine what it would be like to be in 2 Zoom calls at once?
No.
To be on a work call and also be on with your fucking sex friend? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like, this is a story of hubris. This is an Icarus thing. Like it's clear that I think Sarah McHenry tweeted about this, and it was just like, it seems like he's like really playing with fire because he's not like good enough at computers to be juggling these things.
I mean, like, every person in the world has struggled on a single Zoom call with, like, whether or not they're muted or not at least one point during this whole foofara. Having 2 open and also being old?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like, I guarantee that, like, he did mute his video for, like, the sex call.
He for sure. Yeah, absolutely did. I don't, like, this man is in no ways a victim, but when he chose to do this, he did decide to play, like, Russian roulette with, like, a fully loaded gun. Like, he could never have succeeded.
Oh, God.
Never been horny. Never been horny. Don't tell the paper that I ever got horny.
So, we like to end the episode by just reflecting a little bit on what it means to be alive and a human being in pandemic time. And, you know, one thing that we all know, it's very self-evident that this has been taken from us, is like making plans with friends, going out with friends, going out to dinner with friends, having a friend over for dinner, like having a board game night with your friends.
Yeah.
We all know that that's gone because how could we fucking miss it? It's very obvious. But there's other things that have been taken from us that have not been discussed as much. Joe, why don't you take this and explain?
Sure. So it occurred to me recently that I have been missing from my life a very specific type of social interaction. And that social interaction is when you just like go to someone's house and you just sort of like fucking hang out as they like do their life. You're just kind of there. Like maybe they have chores and you just sort of tag along and you're like on your phone as like your friend like struggles with the bank. I miss that. I really do. I miss it because it didn't involve planning. It was spontaneous. There was no like, oh, let's get it on our calendars. It was like, hey, what are you doing today? We're like, I'm trying to fix this and I don't know how anything works. And I'm like, well, I don't either, but I will definitely be there to watch you fuck it up.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not even that you like are there helping. It's if you were to be like, hey, I noticed you're doing a lot of chores. Is there anything I can do to help? Like the answer would be like, actually, it would be more work for me to explain what I want you to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just chill. And it's like, yeah. Like I remember, Joe, one time before I had a car, we needed to go to Home Depot. And so you drove us to Home Depot and like, we were just doing like home chores and you were there because like you drove the car.
Yeah.
And, like, you drove us back home and you were just sort of hanging out as we were like
Yeah.
filling pots with dirt.
It was like one of the best days of my life. It was nice. It was pleasant. It was like a fun little task that didn't have a pass or fail condition for me.
Like I can't for me now, like every day is rated on like a 1 to 10 scale. And like that day was like a 99. And I'm like, I forgot that I was actually rating days on a 1 to 100 scale. And just none of them have gotten over 10 in the last year. Huh? How about that? Isn't that weird?
Yeah. I think driving a married couple to Home Depot is like my version of swinging. That's what it is.
So this is a very particular type of socializing. I think the reason streaming is so big is that it is the closest facsimile you can get to it.
But it's not because like the issue is like I'm going to stream blank, right? Like you have an activity that's planned and it's clear. The social interaction I'm missing and what we really are trying to like capture here is like there is no goal. Like you're just like hanging out.
Like if there's video games involved, it's like, hey Joe, I'm gonna play Bloodborne. You mind? And you're like, nah, I'm looking at my phone.
Yes. Yeah. Ideally, every person would be playing a different game. That's what that's the ideal version of that.
God, just vibing, honestly, is what it is. Thinking about this really brings up like a fucking treaty that was snatched from my hands. Joe, you know how much I like treaties. So if a treaty is taken from me by the cruel hands of fate,
yeah, you don't shut up ever.
It sucks shit to me. Personally, I'm against it. So you may have known because I fucking yammer about it because I whined because it was hard. I moved to a new apartment. And one thing about this new apartment is that like I didn't know this at the time, but I sort of knew it was close. But once I sort of visited it, I was like struck by how close. I live like a fucking block away from Kevin Johnson, who you'll recall from the Sickos episode, where we talked about how he worked in a bad job and we've known each other for over a decade. So in a just world, what I would be doing is like every other day, I'd just be knocking on Kevin's door unannounced, being like, hey, Kevin, want to play Race for the Galaxy? And he'd be like, maybe. And that would like, holy shit. Oh my God, would that be incredible? And I just can't do that. Like, I actually can't be in the same room as another person who isn't my wife, and she can't be in the same room as another person who isn't me because of the death air, and it's stolen from me.
Yeah. I mean, I live literally, I guess, like 4 blocks from Dylan. In a just world, I would be playing fighting games all the time.
Oh my God, lag-free.
Yeah, lag-free. I'd be learning about, like, some weird technical jargon that I didn't know if it's real or not.
Joe, talking about fighting games, this is a joke that I've been trying to say for ages, and you recently reminded me that I've never said it.
Yeah, just there's no setup. Just say your fucking thing.
The real cancel culture is fighting games. They're always trying to cancel their animations.
All right. You know what's cool? So we can put that in the done pile.
We can move that to the archive list on Trello, and also all of our listeners are gone, and they hate us now.
Yep. But yes, so I know everyone is like in really high spirits lately, not thinking about anything, but let's take a moment to remember what we've lost, which is incalculable, and like honestly, every day is a new discovery of what exactly we've left behind.
Joe, I would pay $1,000 to just like play Slay the Spire on your couch while you hang pictures.
Yes. Yeah. You know, like my oven's pretty dirty. So like if you like, I don't know, like if you came over and like you played my old 3DS and like you started a new file for like Shin Megami Tensei 4 while I clean the oven, that'd be pretty fucking good.
God, it would. You know, Joe, you gotta have these dreams. You gotta have visions of hope for the future so that you have something to work towards. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah. I'll get you a 3DS, I promise.
No, Joe, I don't want a 3DS. I want to play your 3DS while you're doing chores. The principle.
Yeah. Someday, 2020, 5. Let's do...
Yeah, 2025. I'll be 35 years old. All my video game skills will have atrophied to nothing. I won't be able to figure out what button says A on it. Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos, everybody. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I'm Joe, an Anime Sicko.
We hope that you one day are able to hang out with your homies as they do household chores that you're not involved with.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Think about your best friend, and then think about them checking the battery of every smoke detector.
See you later, folks. Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.